Does your wife seem unhappy? You know, one of the most common things women report is missing in their marriage is connection. Women have this great need to feel connected, and I'm going to tell you how to make her feel connected so that she'll be happier. Hi, I'm Kelly Case, licensed counselor and marriage coach. I take marriages that are broken and unfulfilling and make them first class so that you can love life together. This channel is for people who want a happier home but are just not sure how to get it. Be sure to click the subscribe button so that you can be notified anytime I upload anything new. If you are married to a woman, the absolute best way to ruin that marriage is to leave her feeling disconnected from you. Connection is a difficult word. It's an abstract idea that we all know and feel, but we have trouble explaining. Another word that means basically the same thing is attachment. So your wife needs to feel attached to you, not physically, although that's nice once in a while too, but emotionally. Connection or attachment is the feeling that you have with your parents or with your children, but in marriage it goes even deeper. Your wife may feel literally like she can't breathe if she doesn't feel connected to you. It's hard to describe, but connection feels like a life force to women. Some women are not good at connection because maybe they've been wounded, but in most cases, women seem to have like this spidey sense, if you will, for connection. They can sense the moment it's gone, almost as if there is like a literal rope between you and her and she can see it being cut. And even if the connection is still there, it takes work to keep it connected. And women can sense when it's time to reconnect. So how can you be sure that you're meeting this need that she has for connection? How can you help her to feel more connected to you? First, you can spend time interacting with her face to face. Women connect through face-to-face interactions. Did you know that humans and bonobos, a certain type of ape, are the only creatures on Earth that have sex face-to-face? Humans were created for this deeper kind of intimacy with each other that happens through face-to-face interaction. Women know this. We are in tune with it. We use it to refuel connection when we feel like it's waning. In fact, to keep your connection strong, I recommend a minimum of 15 minutes per day of face-to-face non-sexual interaction, talking to each other about your day or whatever you might need to discuss. You might need to schedule this each day because life is busy, right? But it is important to have this face-to-face talk at least 15 minutes per day. Second, be open. You can't be connected to someone if you're guarded, living behind your walls. The purpose of your walls is to prevent connection. That's why if you want your marriage to thrive, you have to be unguarded, open, and vulnerable with your wife so that you can be connected. How does this work? What does this look like? Well, it means that you talk to her about your thoughts and feelings. And don't get me wrong, I do not mean that you act like a woman. You don't need to get emotional to be open, but of course you can if you want to. You just need to let down your defenses and be her friend. Talk to her about some of your inner thoughts, things that you think about kids, work, family, the house, whatever. Men often think about things on their own and they don't always verbalize them because they want to feel like they have things under control. They don't need help, they don't need advice, so why talk about it? Well, remember, women don't always talk in order to offer solutions. Your wife just wants to be a listening ear for you. She wants to know that whatever you're feeling is something you can talk to her about. She wants to know what's going on in your head. Of course, you don't have to tell her every single thought and feeling, but she just wants to feel like she's your confidant and that you trust her with your inner world. This makes her feel connected to you. You have to talk to her. You can't sit around quiet all the time. She needs conversation, okay? When you're quiet, she thinks that you're upset about something. Think about it. When two women are hanging out together, they are never quiet. If two women are riding in a car together and they arrive at their destination without talking, one of those women is definitely mad at the other one. That's a fact. So in her world, prolonged silence, prolonged quietness means you're mad. If she thinks that you appear to be upset with her, meaning you're being quiet, she's going to start wondering, did I do something wrong? Because women tend to personalize things, and she may start wondering, did I park the car crooked in the garage? Did I pull in too far? Does he wish that he weren't at the store with me right now? Is he mad at me about something? She's going to assume that you're upset and that you're upset with her, with your marriage, with your life in general. I know, it's traumatic. Oftentimes, men take women's questions as interrogation and they get defensive. Truth is, she's probably not trying to put you under a spotlight. She's just trying to connect with you. She's just trying to gain some reassurance that you're not mad. Now, sometimes you really are angry, right? And when she asks you about it, you might be like, no, I'm fine. I'm not angry. And the truth is, that's usually because you put whatever was upsetting you into another compartment in your brain, into another room, and you left it there, and you compartmentalized it. And you may think that you're fine, but what you didn't realize is that your mood followed you into your other compartment, into your other room, and your intuitive wife is picking up on it. And maybe you just don't want to bother her with what's bothering you. You don't want to stress her out. It's the last thing in the world that she needs right now is for your work stress to be on her shoulders. She's stressed enough with the kids and everything already. The thing is, she feels connected to you when you bother her with what's bothering you. She wants you to talk to her about it. See, women figure things out by talking. So when you appear to have something to figure out, women think that you must need to talk about it. If you think that she's being suspicious or interrogating, you're misreading her. Do you have to talk about it? No, not necessarily. But you could just say something like, I just had some stuff happen at work today. I'm okay. I don't really feel like talking about it. Let's go make dinner. Maybe you can talk about it later. Maybe you can talk about it another time. Tell her, like, I just feel like relaxing right now. This lets her know that it isn't about her, and it puts her mind at ease for a little bit. However, she is still going to want to know that you trust her with your thoughts and that you feel safe talking it over with her, whatever it was that happened at work. So she's still going to be curious and want to know more about what happened today. And there's something important you should know. The more open you are with your wife, the more open she will be sexually with you. And you can take that tip to the bank. In a minute, I'm going to tell you more about how connection and sex go hand in hand for a woman. So, have face-to-face interaction, be open, and lastly, she feels connected to you when she gets closure. We all experience times when connection is broken or distant because we had a fight. It happens. Inevitably, sometimes there will be a feeling of disconnection. But the less often that happens, the better. Remember, conflict is natural and it's expected in a relationship as close as the one that you have in marriage. As you try to merge more and more into one, you are going to experience friction. You'll have conflict. What's important to your wife in this situation is that there is closure. Never get into a fight with your wife, go your separate ways, and then just act like everything's fine the next day. Men can do this much more easily usually than a woman can, because this is what men tend to do with each other. But women are almost incapable of doing this, at least not without some lasting ramifications to the relationship. If there's not closure to a fight, she is going to begin to distance herself from that person. She's not going to feel safe with them. Women need this closure after a conflict. Some men do too. Men, however, tend to get over it much quicker. If you have children, you can probably relate to this, right? When my daughter would get mad at me, she would go to her room, slam her door, write nasty things about me in her diary, and not speak to me for a week. But when my sons were mad at me, they would stomp off to their room and be back out asking what's for dinner 10 minutes later, as if nothing had happened. When men are mad at men, they stay away from each other, they cool down, right? If a man makes a man mad, he doesn't follow him around saying, oh, let's talk about it, I need closure. Okay, so men feel weird doing this with a woman. They usually just cool down and get over it, and then they do the best they can to make up for it later. But with your wife, this may look different. This may look like going away to cool down and then bringing flowers the next day, but not talking about it. And this just isn't good enough for women. She has a deeper need for closure than you do. So what does it mean to get closure? How does a woman know when she has had enough closure? She feels connected again. You can't disconnect and just leave it that way. You have to proactively connect it. And no, I don't just mean have sex, although sometimes that may happen. She needs to feel connected again, which is achieved by processing through it. Another thing to keep in mind is that women need to feel connected in order to enjoy sex, whereas men feel connected by having sex. Women like to feel connected in advance, and men like to feel connected during the process. You can have both. Give each other both. Think of it like an electrical panel, okay? All switches are switched to on normally, unless you blow a fuse. This is a man all the time. All switches switch to on. Women need to have their breaker flipped, and one big way to blow a fuse is to cut off that sense of connection or to not have one to start with. If there's no sense of connection, she probably won't want to have sex. But you can't just come home, be grumpy, talk on the phone to your brother all night, watch a ball game, and then expect her to be in the mood later when you get into bed. Eventually, she's going to say something like, "You only seem interested in me when you want sex." That translates to, "I don't feel connected to you." It's so common for the husband to show more attention when he's starting to get in the mood, right? When it's been a few days. He's hoping to get some tonight. Suddenly he's a little nicer when he comes home, and he's a little more touchy-feely, or he sends a sweet text during the day. He's cuddling more on the couch that night. She wants you to be that way every day, even the day after sex, not just the day that you want some. That makes her feel that you're only doing it to get something from her, and not because you genuinely feel it. My hope for you is that you'll value connection with your wife, that she'll acknowledge your efforts to connect, and that your connection will lead you to a happier wife and a happier life. To learn more about what women need, visit me at firstclassmarriage.com. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, because that helps the content to be shown to more people.